Once upon a time, in a land far, far away, there was a great and wise king. He ruled over his kingdom, and he ruled over his people. And there were lots of them, lots of people that were part of his kingdom. But he was a great king. And as such, he was kind and loving. One day, a plague entered into the kingdom. It got bigger and it became numerous and it was everywhere. The king did not know what to do. This terrible plague had spread throughout the land, causing immense suffering of his people. He was brokenhearted, as you can see, from the suffering of his people. And he asked his advisors, he had advisors, he asked them what he could do to deal with this terrible, terrible plague that was engulfing his kingdom. His advisors couldn't find a solution to the problem. And they told him that this was simply the way of the world and that it was beyond anyone's control. Well, he didn't believe that at all for 1 minute. But they suggested to the king that he pray to God for the plague to be removed. And that's exactly what he did. But it did not seem to do any good. And the king was not satisfied with this answer. So he believed that he could find another way to deal with this plague. And so he asked a sage, a wise sage, which means holy man or wise man, and he was a wise man. So he asked him, about the problem of evil. What do you do when something evil that you don't understand has engulfed the land? Well, the sage explained that there was a great mystery surrounding the existence of evil and suffering in the world, and that it had puzzled philosophers and theologians and people for centuries. Tell me more, said the king. Well, the sage told him that the problem of evil is a question about God's role in the universe. And since he's an all-knowing and all-powerful and all-loving God, why does he allow evil and suffering to exist? Well, the king said, why? I would like to know the answer to that question. Well, the sage replied, there's no easy answer. But that without suffering, we would not be able to appreciate the good things in life. The king was skeptical about this answer. He was doubtful, but he asked the sage to explain more. But the sage went on to explain that life can be like a butterfly. As beautiful as it is, in order for a butterfly to produce the beauty, it has to break out of a cocoon. And once it breaks out, it can become a butterfly. The king was moved by this explanation, and he realized that the suffering of his people may be part of a greater plan, a plan that God has for humanity, for his kingdom. So he decided that he would trust God and seek his wisdom, yet do everything in his power to help his people. And so the king returned to his kingdom with renewed hope and faith. While doing everything he could. He was determined to help his people overcome the plague and to build a brighter future. So the king returned to his kingdom and he watched the plague begin to disappear with his newfound faith and belief that things would work out. The king learned that although the problem of evil exists in the world, and it's still a mystery that we may never be able to fully understand, we can still have faith and trust that God's plan for us can overcome God's plan for us can overcome our big challenges, no matter what they may be. The end.